Welcome to the Bearded Ones. Thank you so much for joining us on our Patreon. If you are watching this on YouTube on either Chris's channel or my channel, thank you so much for checking out what we do on the Bearded Ones Patreon channel. We thought we'd upload this to YouTube as well, just to give you a taste. So what we're talking about today is the MCU list of films that they've produced over a number of years, including the TV series that are canon in a contained ball. So we're not going to be doing like Daredevil stuff from Netflix. We're not going to be doing Agents of Shields. We're going to do what people consider to be the main lot, the TV series that kind of dip into the film storylines as well, that kind of thing. So I think this should be a lot of fun because Chris and I think as much as we like Marvel, we have varying different opinions, and because we're not sheep and don't follow each other around and like exactly the same things, we will like things in different. And I think mine is going to be a little bit controversial and might upset a few people. That's fine. I like what I like, and I like what I don't like. So, I like what I like, and I like what I don't like. So we're going to start from I don't want to say the worst, just the bottom, because I almost love every single MCU film. I don't think there's a bad one in there. There's just tiers of ones that I would watch more, ones that I'll watch as whole, as part of if I'm doing a whole watch through, which I think you do as well, like the Harry Potter once a year. You know, there's films in the Harry Potter list that I like to watch more than the others, but I will still watch all of them. And I still like and enjoy all of them for what they are. So I don't think there's a terrible one in them. So let's just get that out of the way. When people's like, oh, could you say that? No, they're all good. But they're just varying levels of goodness.
Exactly. And I think because we're Marvel fans, you know, we're fans of the MCU. Yeah, it's very, I think it's important for us to state, yeah, no, I don't, just because what's at the bottom of my list doesn't mean that I hate it or that it's terrible. You may think that, and that's okay. I mean, you may hate most of the Marvel movies, absolutely fine. But for me, I think for Ruben, yeah, these are the ones that we enjoy. You know, Disney this past year, well, I don't know how long it has been on Disney, but I went through, they put all of their movies in MCU, they gave you two ways to watch them. You could watch them in release order, but you could also watch them in chronological order. And that was a lot of fun because I went and did that and watched almost all of them up through Endgame. And it was a bunch, but it was casual watching. I mean, I was doing some other things in there, and then also found myself like stopping and being like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be doing something else while I'm watching this. I'm not supposed to be just sitting here. But oh, okay. So our list is really long. Not our list, but the Marvel list, the MCU list. You ready to dive in?
I'm almost ready. I'm currently changing my list right now.
Oh, okay. Well, while Ruben does that, let us know in the comments what's your ranking. And if you don't want to type all of them out, which is totally fine, maybe what's your top 5 or what's your top 10? That would be cool. You know, where do they fall? I would love to see how everybody ranks, especially the top several. Just what makes it, what is like the one, like if it's going to be, you know, I count it like as rewatchability and maybe some of the emotion or whatever you loved within there. So yeah, let us know in the comments. Okay. Did you cool. Reordered yours? Are you going to stick with it?
I did.
You good?
I hope so.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't think it's fair that you just reorder on the fly, but I won't know, so you can totally do that. Okay. Drum roll. You want to go? What is the
sure
the least favorite for you?
The Incredible Hulk is my least favorite because it just doesn't sit as part of the storylines for me. It feels the most disjointed, especially because they changed the Hulk. I like what he did with the Hulk, but it just feels like it's almost as separate as Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk. I like Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk. I don't get the hate for that film. I think it's very comic book, but this one for me, it was like, yeah, I could not watch it and then just enjoy what the Hulk becomes, because Ruffalo's Hulk for me is now the Hulk. So yeah.
This one's at the bottom of my list also. For all the same,
is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
for all the same reasons.
Same reasons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So number 32 for me, Captain Marvel, which I really enjoyed it when I watched it in the theater. Like, had a blast with it. Went and rewatched it, and there are portions of it that I absolutely still love, and I'm thrilled that we're getting Secret Invasion later. With the Skrulls, but yeah, it's one that I found after rewatching it. It was just kind of like, yeah, it's good. I don't feel like this is, well, anyway, it's my number 32. There you go.
Okay, cool. Thor: The Dark World is my next one.
Okay.
Just because it felt like it changed tones so much tonally.
Yeah.
We had this kind of light-hearted Thor Asgardian and just went boom, and I felt like I was watching a DC film. Not a terrible film. Parts in it I think work really well. It was just like, yeah, it's one of those that I at least go back to watch.
Gotcha. That one's a little higher up on my list. It's at 29 on my list. I love Stellan Skarsgård in there. I mean, he's naked screaming for half the movie, which is, yelling crazily. So a lot of fun. Okay. Number 31 then on my list is Iron Man 2. So, yeah. There's fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Go for it.
Iron Man 2, for this one would be Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, okay.
I just find it boring.
Oh.
Yeah, I just don't find it exciting. I expected something different. I enjoy the first one much more than the second one. Yeah.
Okay. My next one is Iron Man 3, which...
And my next one is Iron Man 3 as well.
Oh, is it really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's still a lot of fun. But yeah, I think there's portions in there that they kind of forgot about. Like Pepper has that power in her, right? Did they ever resolve that? I don't know if they ever resolved that.
I don't think they did. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, just Pepper suddenly becoming Iron Man, basically saying anybody can be Iron Man. It doesn't require much more. I equate Iron Man and Tony Stark. There's a level of intelligence to be able to control the suit. The suit isn't just its own thing, but by the end they've established that the suits are its own thing and anybody can get in the suit, including Pepper. Now, I'm not saying she's not intelligent. It just felt weird that she was then kicking ass and having almost no training or whatever. And I just I understood you as a businesswoman, controlling all of Tony Stark's companies and putting the Playboy to bed sort of thing, but not this. It came out of left field. Also, a pet peeve of mine, the storyline for the Mandarin is awful. It's not the Mandarin, and
but Ben Kingsley
thankfully Shang-Chi has redeemed Iron Man a lot.
Yes.
Iron Man 3, that storyline.
Yes.
But it still annoys me that it exists. And so my next one on the list is Iron Man 2. So they kind of float up and down like that.
Gotcha.
In the list.
Okay.
What's next? Next
on my list would be Thor: The Dark World. And then Hawkeye, the series. I enjoyed it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Interesting.
Is that higher on your list?
Yeah, it is higher. But my next one is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh.
So it's interesting that some of those series are coming in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the most Marvel series you could ever be. It doesn't try to be anything different. It doesn't take any, boundaries. I like the series because they take steps to do something. They dare to be a little different. This one was just ticking all the boxes, which is fine. They're still good and still enjoyable, but yeah, I was just okay.
Yeah, that one's Falcon and Winter Soldier is much higher on my list. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, much higher there.
But you've got Hawkeye down here.
Yeah, and I love him as a character. I think he's a lot of fun, and I had fun with the series too. It's not that I didn't. It's I don't know. Yeah, no, I think as a rewatchability type of thing, it's not one that I'm instantly yep, this is the one I'm going to go back to. And I think excuse me, maybe that's because there's a lot of doors that have been opened by the story, and I want them to address
you want to
these
know
at
what's
some point.
Gonna happen. Yeah.
So,
okay. Next on my list is Eternals.
Mine too. That's funny.
Okay. Yeah, that is funny. Now, I enjoyed it, and I think I enjoyed it more than the critics did in this film. I really loved the fact that they really are setting up a new universe. The characters that they're starting with are massive. It's a big story. Not an easy task to do. But it is also a hard one to go back and watch, because they're setting up so much. I think the next one will probably be much more entertaining, but this one is just like, okay, we've set up the world. I really want to see that next film with the end credit scenes. You know, like, give me the cosmic story. I'm kind of done with Earth now. Like, we've had it. You know, we've seen New York blown up a number of times. Big Ben has been destroyed. London Bridge is done. You know, okay, give me the cosmic storylines.
Yeah, Earth has had its chance. Let's move on.
Yeah, we're moving on now. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So next after Eternals, I have Doctor Strange 2. And yeah, well, and you know, going in, first off, I've only seen it once, so you know, it I don't know, I'm still riding kind of on that high, but also all of the negatives are still fresh in my brain also, so it hasn't had that opportunity to kind of equalize itself, where, you know, all of the high points stick out and I kind of forget about any of the negative things, and, you know, which is some of these, you know, that it's like I look at that back on them more fondly, even though I know that there may be issues within there. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Ant-Man is my next one.
Oh, okay.
See, I like it for him. I think that's it. Like, I think he's funny and he's perfect as Ant-Man. But I think the story is really basic. Yeah. It's like, I want to see him involved. When he's involved with the team, I think he's perfect. In Civil War, he is brilliant. The bits when he says, "Hey guys, it's me," in Infinity, like, and is that real? He's awesome. But I want to see a meaty story. If they're going to do another one, because they're doing that Quantum Mania, right? It needs to has some meat to it. It needs to have a punch. And I don't think we've had that from Ant-Man yet. Yeah.
Well, and I'm still waiting for Luis to give us a recap of the MCU, or even better now, after the events of 2020 and 2021, I want Luis to recap everything that's gone down in the world, because he just, you know, like, he's the highlight in both of the Ant-Man movies. That you just, anyway, yeah. Okay,
I agree.
My next one is probably going to tick some people off. I might get a little bit of hate for this one, just because of where it sits in the list. Spider-Man Homecoming.
That's so funny. My next one is Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, okay. That one is a little higher up on my list, but yeah, it's again, to go back to what we said at the very beginning, it's not that it's a bad movie, and I enjoy it, and I think Tom Holland as Peter Parker is brilliant. I think he has captured that. They captured the high school, the awe of the teenager, very well within him. You know, we've had more of the college age, or the slightly out of college type of Peter Parkers. And they've done well, but this one is the first one that we really get where he's just like this awestruck teenager, you know, from the very first time we meet him in Civil War. So,
I'm going to join you I'm just going to have both Spider-Mans, like Far From Home and Homecoming, kind of sit in the same spot for me. So what's your next one then?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Wow.
I think, what's his name? Well, as much as
that hurts a little bit.
I liked Ego, but I just don't think he was as powerful as he could have. I'm upsetting Ruben. Is this one much higher on your list?
Yeah, much higher. Yeah.
Man, okay.
I love this film because of the father storyline, not Ego. But
Yondu, right?
The emotion, Yondu.
Or
like,
Yondu,
he
Yondu,
is obviously the dad. Yondu, yeah.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was going to say. That portion of it, and then him, like, is Mary Poppins cool? Yeah, he's
Mary
cool.
Poppins, yo.
That one of the greatest lines in all of the MCU. I mean, just and it shows how great Michael Rooker is as an actor, and just fully embrace that.
He's so good. Yeah. Okay, so that yours was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This one's gonna shock people. Black Panther is next for me.
Oh.
So you got Volume 2, you got Black Panther. For me, there's dodgy CG in it. That fight sequence at the end, rhinos with armor, it just pisses me off. I was like, that's just not realistic at all. That just wouldn't happen. No. It just, there's so many things. It's just, I guess because I come from Africa, there was even like dancing and stuff that just, they took the African dances and then made them like almost like the Messiah were dancing, but it was just weird and different, and I was just like, that's not actually how they would do it. Like so there was stuff in it. Like, I love the actor that plays him, and I will always be sad that we don't get more of him. I kind of want, the bad guy, I wish he would become the new Black Panther.
Killmonger.
I think it's dark and it's sad, but if there was a redemption story for him and he wasn't dead, like him as the next Black Panther, I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of for
that'd be awesome. Yeah,
I mean, and what it means for people, like the meaning behind it, what it carries, the weight of the film. It wasn't just a film; it was a movement. So I get it. But as a film, like I can't. My brain is like, nah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, and it is a bummer, and I'm really excited to see how they honor Chadwick Boseman in Wakanda Forever.
What's an actor? Perfect for the role.
Yeah, he was. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Talking about one-liners.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, talking about like, what are those? The sister who's
what are those? What?
Pointing at his sandals. What are those? It's great. Great line.
Oh, okay. Next on my list, The Avengers. The first culmination, which still has some great lines in it. I mean, it really does. It's still a lot of fun. I think though that when I go back to like Avenger movies, it's less of the priority than some of the more recent ones, just because of some of the progress that they've made as characters or whatever. But
so I'm going to put both Avengers movies here that we haven't put yet: Age of Ultron and Avengers.
Okay.
Because I like them both. I enjoy them both. I think as the first film that came out, I think the pacing of the first film is excellent. I think the pacing is off for Age of Ultron. It's almost 2 films. And I like both films. It's like introducing the wonder, the what's going in Sokovia, also dealing with the consequences of all the films that have happened beforehand, and Tony Stark, and that's kind of the unraveling before we get to Civil War. So they're almost like that. So yeah, Avengers and Age of Ultron would be like again neck and neck for me.
Okay. I got Ant-Man. I know that was lower on your list, but I think because of the Paul Rudd aspect, which is why I get it. Yeah, so much fun.
Nice. I got WandaVision next.
Oh, okay.
WandaVision. Just because I don't think I can go back and watch it that often. Like those first few episodes are great and unique and different, which is why I've got it in the higher half. Because I think it's different, and then we get to the interesting, and it's basically setting up Doctor Strange. But I just don't think I can watch it that often. So.
From the rewatchability, it's just less for you. Yeah. My next one is Thor.
Okay.
Yeah, out of the Thor movies, well, I mean, no, I had what's the other one, the Dark World, lower in there, but this it's good, and it's great as establishing his character. I don't know, it's just one of those that I'm not as drawn to. I mean, when I went back and rewatched it, I laughed at a lot of the different points. I found it very interesting and very engaging, but it's still okay. I've seen it again. I don't need to watch it again for a while.
Nice. My next one is Captain Marvel. I really like this film. The more I watch it, the more I enjoy it. I think partly because I've worked in a number of blockbusters, and there's a whole segment of blockbusters like she smashes and it was just nostalgic on so many levels for me. The Walkman, it plays a lot on nostalgia, and I think that's why it was working well for me. And then the latter half of the film is great action sequences, nice banter. I like the buddy cop between her and Samuel L. Jackson. I thought that was really interesting. And to see Coulson again, loved seeing Coulson, a young Coulson. You know, it still hurts that he got killed, kind of. Depends on whether you think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon or not. But yeah, so I was just like, yeah, and the score, like the soundtrack, all like 90s vibe, and because of, again, nostalgic. Yeah, a lot of fun for me.
Nice.
What's next on your list?
Black Widow. So
nice. Mine's Black Widow as well.
Oh, is it really? Okay, cool. Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
I want to see more of Yelena. I'm glad that Scarlett Johansson got a movie, you know, as Black Widow, because come on. We didn't want what happened in Endgame. I mean, we
it still hurts. Yeah,
it does. Sucks. It's which just goes to the power of the storytelling, that you have this character that we love so much.
I think it's the wrong decision as well. I do. I think they should have killed Hawkeye off, because I think what Scarlett Johansson's character would have gone through then emotionally would have been more interesting for us to watch her in future films. Yeah, Thor is next on mine. Oh, I really like this as a original. I can watch it a number of times. I think the banter's there. It's funny. It's, you know, we got those first films that started setting up the MCU, and this was one of them that I think really solidified. Superhero films are good now. Yeah.
This one, my next one is Spider-Man Far From Home, which I loved Jake Gyllenhaal in it. I think that's what really pushes it up on my list. Is just him. Excuse me.
Yeah, but for me, this is hashtag not my Mysterio. So I was just like, what did you do?
Is that because it didn't stick to more of the comic book lore?
I don't like the way they did Illusions, and he had all those people working for him. Mysterio was really intelligent, quite as formidable as the Green Goblin, you know, in that round for Spider-Man. I think it was real magic as well. Like, at some parts it was illusion, but at some point it was real. It just, I don't know.
Okay.
But there were moments in that film that I thought were excellent. The bit when you have the holograms and Spider-Man has to face off against Tony Stark. Horrific, but really well done. Like, you needed that emotional punch, because that just came after the Endgame, right? So we're still reeling off of that. It's the first one that's going into the new one. Yeah. Heartbreaking. You're like,
very much.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. I don't feel right. Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings is my next one.
Oh, okay.
I think it's pretty rewatchable. Has crazy action scenes. The martial art fight scene on the bamboo on the side of the building, for one, is one of the best. But it's definitely paying homage to, like, Rush Hour, so some of the greats. I think it's Rush Hour 2. Might be Rush Hour 2. Yep. And then the fight sequence on the bus with the dude with the sword. I was like flipping it. Apart from the huge action scene that you get at the end with the mystical dragons and creatures, which is amazing.
That's so cool.
This film is just fun. And their characters, like the banter between them, again, like the buddy cop thing that seems to work well.
Yeah, and then the inclusion of Awkwafina, where we get to also watch her become a little bit of a hero too. That it's so good.
I don't even mind that she suddenly knows how to be an amazing archer. I don't care. Give it to her.
Yep. We're going to count it as luck. That's really what it is. She's able to pull back the bow and kind of aim, and, you know.
There's a little bit of magic in the air.
Yep, exactly. Yes, it's helping guide the arrows there. Totally. All right. My next on the list is Ant-Man and the Wasp. I know it's lower on yours, but I just had fun. I do find that I wish that Hannah John Kamen's villain was a little bit more. You know, it was
that was for me. The villain was the weakest of the film. It was
yeah. So it's yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think you should re-rank that. Put it lower.
You just okay, but see, it has that line in there with Luis and the others where you know, he starts talking and they're like, "Hey, can you shut him up?" And he goes, "No, man, you put the quarter in. You got to let it all play out."
It's just because you like Luis, isn't it?
I don't.
That's what it is.
Absolutely,
it's your man crushing Luis.
Michael Pena kills it. I don't know.
He does. Yeah, he really does.
So good.
Iron Man is next. The film that started the franchise.
Yeah.
That Kevin Feige. I mean, that film can stick on any point. You could watch it alone outside of the MCU. It's just a good movie. Never mind superhero movie. It's really entertaining. Robert Downey Jr. Just, you know, as soon as you see him as Tony Stark, you're like, yeah, forget the Iron Man suit. He is Tony Stark. Like, he is 100%. That bit when he's showing off the explosions at the beginning to the military, Tony Stark. Just like, okay,
totally.
Yeah, so cool. Do you want to get a picture with me? That's cool, man. It's like peace.
Hey, no gang signs.
Yeah, no gang signs. And boom, and you're like, oh crap. And then he builds himself a suit, so it becomes this, you know, genius film. Yeah.
Well, and this is in my, it's in my top 5.
Okay, no, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but Jon Favreau, I mean, showing us like how good of a filmmaker. I mean, this is not his first film that he's directed, but I mean, he's killing it in this and showing us. And really, I mean, he goes. I think this solidifies him as like one of the go-to directors. You know, not just in the MCU, not for the MCU, but just in general, that he can take a project and he can make something. I mean, I think about that one point where Tony Stark or Iron Man lands in the desert area, you know, with all the terrorists around as they're taking hostages and everything. Yeah, and then you see it, and it some of it's just the filmmaking choice that they have, where he is in the foreground and he's super in focus, and the rest of it is just kind of blurred out, you know, and kind of slowly going in the confidence of walking away and all that. I love it.
Superheroes don't need to look back at explosions or something. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Oh, all right. So next on my list is Black Panther. So definitely higher on my list than on yours. But I do get what you're, you know, what you'd said there. Yeah.
Nice. So. What did I get to? Spider-Man No Way Home is now on my list.
Really?
I've had time to think about it. I enjoy the Spider-Man, but I do think it's very fan servicey. I can't get past that. I think they wanted as much. I would rather just Spider-Man 4 with like Tobey Maguire. Like, give me that. Finish the franchise, because you could technically say now that they're in a different universe, right? Because they pulled them from different universes. So finish the Andrew Garfield one. Be nice to them. They played excellent Spider-Man. I would love them to finish that. I think it's a lot of fan service, and I predicted everything in that movie. Like, I knew exactly what was going to happen, when it was going to happen. It didn't do anything new that I was expecting it to. So that sounds like I'm coming down hard in it, but this is my top half. Like, we're now in the higher tier. So as much as like when Toby steps up and scream, although it's fan service, I'm like, Toby!
Totally. Yeah, no, the movie is definitely fan service. It's in my top 5 also, but it's also, I think for me, within the story, all of the redemption arcs that we get, that's really what made this movie for me, is that it hits so hard because we get to see so many characters have an opportunity to make a decision on whether or not to change. And you get to watch each of them do that. You know what I mean? To be faced with the reality that things could be different and better if I had made a different choice, you know, or I can forgive myself because it was out of my control, something like that. Just any of those. So that's why. My next on Loki,
Nice.
the series.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of fun with this. I really need them to do a season 2, or if they're not, that they need to bring in Kang and they need to really start diving in to the true multiverse.
I can't see them not doing a
This was-
second season because there's too many questions.
Yeah, yeah, and Owen Wilson, dude, killed it in that.
Killed it.
So good.
Yeah. Loved in that. For me, Moon Knight is in the Loki space for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, amazing series. I think it took a long time to get to where I wanted it to. Didn't answer nearly as many, especially now in the light of this might be it, and they don't answer some of those other questions. I'm like, spectacularly acted and filmed and created, and the costumes are amazing, and the characters are so much fun, and it's so refreshing to get something that I don't know, right? Like it's a character we didn't know much of.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, that's why, when we went into it, I'm like, I don't know anything of what's going on, and which became fun.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah,
But-
surprising.
Yeah, it's a little higher on my list. Only a couple of spots there. Thor Ragnarok coming up next.
Nice. So much fun.
Yeah, it's still a lot of fun. Some of those iconic moments too. Just with him when he gets the lightning and when he learns to harness that. Just whoa, so good. But then
yeah, it's good. I could talk about this movie for a long time. Yeah. And now I've got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness here.
Oh, okay.
Because
I
I had all the issues
go for it.
that we talked about them, but the more I thought about it, the more I enjoyed it, because there are moments in there that stood out. They're like, yeah, I really like that bit, or I really like that bit, or I really like that bit. So yeah. What's
Nice. My next one is Doctor Strange. First
my next one is Doctor Strange, the first one.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. We've discussed it, but it's such I love the first time, or going back to it, it reminds me more of why I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Even more, and I picked out different things from it that I didn't necessarily notice or pick up before. And I just think it was well crafted. Just, engaging. There's humor in all the right spots and some really good action sequences. And then that whole special effects with when they're in the mirror dimension or anything else, it just
yeah. Right, great. Loki is next for me. Yeah, so higher on my list than yours, but just a couple of spots. Again, I think because rewatchability, I think I could switch it on it from the beginning and try and glean all the stuff I missed, because I feel like there's probably stuff I missed. And also just for the random Lokis that we encounter, because it's all about the different Lokis. I think it's so much fun. And Richard E. Grant is one of the best Lokis ever, or Crocodile Loki. Just oh my gosh.
What? But yeah. Okay, that right there, what you just said, all the different versions of him because of the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
That is what we should have seen in Doctor Strange.
Exactly. Why wasn't there a small dog Doctor Strange? Or an octopus Doctor Strange? Why were they all looking like him? Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, so in this spot is Moon Knight for me.
Okay.
So I think we
makes sense.
kind of flip-flopped those there.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
I have Hawkeye here because I
okay.
really enjoyed this. It's like that feeling I get when I want to watch Home Alone at Christmas. I think this will be the series I want to watch at Christmas now. Like, I could totally just stick this on yearly and watch it as a contained fun, especially if they do like a film, bring back Wilson Fisk, or he comes back, because it seems like they're now starting to add in the Daredevils and that kind of thing. They're gonna, because they had Daredevil, didn't they, in Spider-Man? So, well, as the lawyer, which the fans went mental about as well. I have a lot of fun with their partnership. The no, you can't be the next Hawkeye, okay, but you are actually kind of good storyline. Hawkeye going to oh my gosh, like a D&D day, like a live action, so good.
The LARPing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, some of the best. Jeremy Renner as like having to put himself through that. My goodness, I had so much fun in that episode.
His defeat of like, fine,
let's
whatever.
do this then.
Okay, just let's do this. This is the only way. Because at the beginning, it's like, there's no way in the world I'm doing this. No. And then, okay, fine. You need to make the ting, ting.
Yeah. But I also think Hawkeye, I forget her name, going to be...
Haley Stanfield's character, yeah.
I know she's got a character name and everybody's shouting at me, I just forgot. I thought she was great. I thought she had a lot of charisma, a lot of screen and presence. But we also get, which is why this is also higher, from Black Widow, we had that introduction of that character at the end there, but also throughout the film, Elena. And then she's in this as like a main character, I guess, one of the main antagonists, and she was great. And I was like, oh, this added just another dimension. We have Wilson Fisk, we have Hawkeye and the wannabe, and now we have Yelena. Great fight sequences as well on the roof there, man. I was loving it.
Yeah. And the watch.
Oh, the watch, yes.
With Clint's wife.
Yeah. That was a big reveal, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Just so I hope that we get more. I mean,
it would be sad if we didn't.
Yeah, because that was
great.
Totally.
I'm talking too much.
Yeah.
What's next on your list?
No, you're not. No. Mine is Age of Ultron.
Okay, cool. I do love what's his face as Ultron. I think he had the perfect voice for Ultron.
James Spader.
When he does the Pinocchio strings bit, so good.
Creepy. Just he's you're right. His voice, he's just the right one for that, and it's just off-putting and unsettling and beautiful all at the same time.
Great opening as well, Age of Ultron. Like that action scene is just Ruby talks about it earlier, as you're just thrown right into it. And I think that's the first time we see Wanda Maximoff. Yeah,
because her and her brother are in the cage. Cage is being well, they were in a cutscene. They were in a cutscene before that.
Oh, okay.
In one of the but it was but that was it. It wasn't very much.
Captain America. I love this as an origin film.
The first Avenger?
The first one, the first Avenger. Set in World War II. It shows what a real hero is. It starts out as a scrawny man that jumps on a grenade. Man, and then he becomes the behemoth that he is. But we had that established character arc at the beginning showing us what he was. And so I just felt so much more weight. There were no gadgets. This was just him and his shield. And then he is a fish out of water in later. But yeah, okay. So I love it. Yeah, I thought it was a really good story.
It's much higher for me. It's a bunch higher on my list. Yeah, but the conversation that Steve Rogers has with Stanley Tucci's doctor before the experiment happens, and talking about why did you choose me? Why did you want to do this? I mean, it's so powerful, and just it really goes to it speaks to the character, and we see it all throughout. Before he gets the injection, the character of who Steve Rogers is, making him why we want him to be Captain America and why he deserves to be this superhero.
Yeah, they lucked out.
Which I love that.
Because we've seen what happens if you give serum to a bad person. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so my number 11 is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Much higher for you.
And much higher than what yours was. I just had a lot of fun. I love the buddy between them, the strained, they each get on each other's nerves. I love at the beginning how they are oil and water, and they really just hate each other, and they can't wait to get farther away from each other. And by the end, I mean, they're brothers, and then Anthony Mackie becoming Captain America. That is just, I loved it. I love that he takes on the mantle, and when we get to see him in his new suit, it just loved it. Okay,
nice. My next one is Captain America: Civil War. I think as the Avengers movies go, this is the best one out of the three. Because I know it's a Captain America movie, but it's an Avenger movie. It has all of them in it.
It is an Avenger movie.
Yeah. I don't like the location for the fight on the airport because it's like very cementy. But I like the fight in itself, like the choreography. I think it's very well done, and it's I don't know if your cinema erupted, but I remember people erupting when Spidey was like, "Hey, like, you gonna call your underoos?" And he yeah, it's so good. Great moment.
Yeah.
But that fight between Iron Man and Captain America at the end, brutal. Because these are you're like watching best friends beat the crap out of each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that back and forth of just hitting each other, the shield bouncing off, and then Bucky and Cap alternating with the shields and punches.
It just feels like a betrayal of each other. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Which I love how it then sets up so many things, you know, as we go forward, you know, between them, the animosities between them, and why, you know, at the beginning of Infinity War, where we've got a lot to explain. You know, Cap and I haven't spoken for quite some time, you know, different things like that.
This is making me nostalgic. I just want to go and watch them now. Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 10, we're at our top 10 now. My number 10 is WandaVision. Because I had a blast with it. I loved how different it was at the beginning, and then I loved the twists that it took. And I think also because as the MCU has progressed, I have begun to like Elizabeth Moss's character of Wanda more. Not Elizabeth Moss. Nice. Elizabeth Olsen.
Very different series.
Her character more and more. Totally different series. Would have been wildly different there if that had been cast that way. But yeah,
nice.
So
okay. So I've got 6 left. So do you want to do a couple more of yours?
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I think you've touched on a few of these already. Okay. So next after WandaVision would be the first Guardians, Guardians of the Galaxy. Had a blast with that. I love the dance scene, but all the combination of characters. Again, with all of these people that I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this goes as one more illustration of how James Gunn is able to take random characters that are
he's so good at that,
maybe not as well known. Yeah, and making and pulling these in to give them backstory, to give them weight and depth. And we then totally root for them. And he has a true talent in doing that. And I think I'm glad that he's coming back for the third one also. Okay, so then next up is Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier. Have you said Winter Soldier? Yep, okay. No, you haven't. Oh, okay. Dark. I love it. I love the battle between Cap and Bucky.
Yeah.
Just like you had said with Civil War, that betrayal, that those friends going back and forth. There's so much weight there and Cap are fighting in one of those big ships at the top. Yeah, and then they're all crashing in because that's where we find out that some of that Robert Redford's character
he was Hydra.
Yeah, because this is the first one, right, that we learn that Hydra is S.H.I.E.L.D. or S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra. Yeah.
I actually remember watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they tied in the storyline, the reveal of that, and that was really cool. I like that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Cool. And one more, I think, that to catch me up so that you have 6 and if I have 6 left, the first Captain America, for all the reasons that we just said.
Cool. Well, my 6 is Captain America, the Winter Soldier, so that's nice and easy. Because I think they're interchangeable, all 3 Captain Americas. Like, almost one story. I could watch either of them whenever. I think they're great.
Yeah. All 3 are in my top 10. So, cool. My number 6, Infinity War.
Okay, nice. Okay, so we're in top 5 now.
Top 5.
Yeah. So you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy. My number 5 is Guardians of the Galaxy. So yours is a little bit earlier. I just had so much fun I love these characters so much, and I care about them as well. Like that moment with the tree, Groot sacrificing himself, the tree, yeah. When he goes round and protects them, and we are Groot.
We are.
Come
Groot,
on, yeah.
Dude, gave me chills just now. That's so good.
So good.
My number 5 is Shang-Chi.
Okay, yeah. So you enjoyed it a lot more than me. I mean, I loved it, but this isn't your top 5.
Yeah, I really did. I had so much fun with it and a blast, and I cannot wait to see more of the characters.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to what they do with the next. And it's really, I think it fixed the 10 Rings issues that it had in MCU. It's a very clever thing.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. Like, there were mention of the 10 Rings, and it's been building up to it, and it's been in the MCU, but that was just like, here you go.
That's something that what I loved about when I went back and watched all the things, in Iron Man.
Yeah, even in Iron Man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's very cool just to see that, like, you're like, I don't even know what that is, and then later we get so much more of a reveal in that.
Yeah, that's great. My number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Okay. Because of what I mentioned earlier. The father-son story, the surrogate father-son story, the opening, one of the best openings to a movie ever. They're fighting the interdimensional squid thing, and they haven't put on the music yet, and then Groot switches on the tape deck, and it goes dun 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 dun, and he's dancing, and he's trying not to get what's her name to see him dancing, Drax. So he keeps freezing, and then he gets dragged onto that little... So Groot's having his own battle on the side while they're fighting this... Drax thinks he's, doing so well, but he actually isn't. He thinks he killed the interdimensional beast. And just as if to save the day, the Rocket will steal the annual axis batteries, because that's what Drax calls them. And it just starts their adventure. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, that's an opening, isn't it? Jeez.
Oh, you've made me want to go back and rewatch it, because you're right. I'm just remembering these scenes, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And it's why you love them. Well, and it was also because we get to see so many of the different Ravagers at this point.
Yeah, very cool. Like, we always wanted that spin-off with the other Ravagers with Stallone as well. He's really cool from the comics directly, I believe. Very cool characters. But yeah, I totally watched that. Yeah. Did you say what your number 4 was?
No. My number 4 is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay. Yeah.
For all of the reasons, that redemption arc, that's really that's the driving thing between that. I mean, yes, I loved all the fan service. I thought that was wonderful, but the fact that you have these characters in redemption is
nice.
Okay.
My number 3 is Endgame. So in my top 3, Endgame, because I know it's long and people are like, oh, it's such a long movie. I don't feel the time at all in this movie. At all. The way we start with Tony dying. And I literally, when I watched it the first time, I didn't know. I thought maybe he was going to die there. Like, he's in the spacecraft, he has no air. And it would have been a beautiful send-off as well, because he says goodbye. He does the recording in his helmet, the last of the power. He's bonded with Nebula. They're playing like the football, such a great like soccer football. Man, I love that. Like that whole scene, what a wonderful way. Just they've beaten half the people are gone, they're dust, and this is how they. Like, oh, okay, love it.
Yes. My number 3 is Iron Man. And
nice. I totally understand why. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
You're gonna sit down and have a
our
cheeseburger
last
and say, I am Iron Man.
I am Iron Man. He captured it so well, right? I mean, just the arrogance and the confidence, and yet with that becomes a completely relatable, damaged character. He's so flawed in so many different ways, but he becomes so sympathetic, and we forgive him of his arrogance because he's just so charismatic and just so...
He's just so fun to watch, isn't he? And you love the genius as well.
Really is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my number two...
Our last two?
Yeah. My number two is Infinity War. I think Infinity War is the better story, and the ballsiness of the directors to leave it like they did after gutting the fans. I was like, because seriously, like tears everywhere around the world, and then we had to wait for a year. You just destroyed us.
I don't know about your theater. Ours was silent.
Yeah.
For like 5 minutes afterwards. You're
even
just
the
like...
credits were like... And I'm like... And do you remember all the interviews with the actors? They were like, I don't know, I'm dead. And you're like, you can't be. And I was like, wait, Spider-Man's just getting started. They can't have just killed him off. Could they?
And Black Panther?
Yeah, Black Panther.
Gone. I mean, just there was so many that you're like, whoa. and so many with a punch, too, that you're like, dang it, that's...
But Thanos kind of steals the movie, though, doesn't he? All that for a scratch. Oh, my goodness.
Isn't this the first time, though, that we truly get a real good Marvel villain?
It's the villain. We needed a really good villain, and he was brilliant.
Yeah, because I mean, we've had powerful villains, but I don't think we've had like the development.
We've had one with and
the
backstory,
understanding of them.
Like you get why he's doing what he's doing,
and he makes some really good points too. That's
he does make a lot of good points. Like I'm not sure. Like if there was a vote, how many people would actually vote for him? A lot, I think.
Yeah, you take the gamble, right? You're like, well,
let's make the universe.
Society is.
Let's make the universe purple again. Come on, guys, vote Thanos.
Yeah, I may disappear, but
it'll be worth it in the long run.
A grimace. Oh goodness. Oh, all right. My number two is Captain America: Civil War.
Okay.
For a lot of the reasons that we just we spoke of. I mean, there's so much going on, and truly, you're right. This is an Avengers movie. I mean, it's Avengers 3?
Yeah.
Is that what we're? I mean, because you go Avengers, Age of Ultron, yeah. This really is. I mean, and oh my goodness, yeah, so many different character conflict moments within there too, which I loved. All leading up to that end, which then sets off the next couple of movies. And
I do love Black Widow and Hawkeye fighting, and she's like, "You're pulling your punches," and it because they kind of were. They didn't want to be fighting each other, right? They've been put in a really awkward position.
Well, and you figure too, the whole. I mean, it's ideal versus ideal, and both have legitimate concerns about that. And that conflict.
But I'm still not signing the Sokovia Accords.
No, I'm not
I think
either.
They're wrong.
No, yeah.
Don't
exactly.
reveal your identity. Come on. The bad guys will just come after you.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Okay. So what is your
You can see where I stand,
yeah. Your number one, drum roll.
Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
It's my go-to film. I know him is one of my all-time favorite lines. We're work friends. I think, again, I love the action in it. It's amazing. And, amazing opening. You're fighting a dragon at one point, which is great. That's how you start an opening. But his relationship with the Hulk, or Eric Banana, and... what's your face? Ugh.
Wait, Bruce Banner? Bruce Banner or Eric Banner? Because it's Mark Ruffalo and Bruce Banner, not Eric Banner.
Eric Banana. Because Eric Banner did play the Hulk.
Yes.
But Bruce Banner is Mark Ruffalo. Yes. Mark Ruffalo. Just the Hulk and Thor and the Asgardian. Not the Asgardian. Yeah, the
Valkyrie?
the Pegasus. The Valkyrie. Thank you. Yes. I think the Valkyrie and the Hulk, their relationship is great. Like, really fun. And she has a great redemption story. It's just in that. And then we have the Hulk have a redemption story. It's kind of two films in one as well, because it's kind of Planet Hulk as well. If you've ever read the comic, it's very similar to that. But then we've got Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Who, my goodness. We have Taika Waititi, who said he'd only put a little bit, like, there was one line of his character in the script of, hi, my name's Korg. I'm a rock. I'm made of rocks. But after he went over the script, his character was suddenly much bigger and a much larger part, which I think is hilarious, and so Taika. But now is one of my all-time favorite characters in the MCU. Like, Korg is amazing. I want him in everything. Him playing video games with Thor is hilarious. Fat Thor. But yeah, like the loss, I think, is probably one of the saddest stories in all of the MCU. Who Thor loses, like, he loses his mom. He has the opportunity to go back in time, and he can't stop her. And even though she knows something's about it, and she won't let him say what's going to happen, he wants to save. He wants the relationship with his father that he never really gets. Loki's pretending to be the dad, and he isn't. If the father dies, does kind of give them a heartfelt moment, but at that moment, as he disintegrates, she arrives and there's no time, they're like, oh, now we're gonna die again, and she's like badass. And then you're finding out that it just destroys the hammer. Then you're finding out, wait a minute, my dad and my sister were evil, like proper evil. Great. And then he loses everyone because the planet is destroyed. He sees his brother's neck get snapped by everything. Like, he has a very, very sad story. No wonder he's such a broken character at the end, where he becomes Fat Thor in is it Infinity War or Endgame, where they find him? Yeah. But just the ride of what is Ragnarok. I think the story, because we all kind of have our ideas of what Ragnarok is, but how they were going to put that into play, I think, was interesting. They kind of brought about Ragnarok to save the people in the end. And you think they're saved, but then in the end credit sequences, one sequence, that the ship that they're escaping on gets taken by Thanos, and the beginning of Infinity War is their doom. So it's just sad.
Yeah. Well, he's lost his eye. He's lost his toy.
Yeah.
Most of his family. Yeah. I mean, get help. I don't want to play Get Help.
Because, we're not playing Get Help. Which is why when he's finally built his new weapon and he says, bring me Thanos, I'm with him. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole. So good.
Anyway, that's my
Your number one there, huh? My number one is Endgame. This one I find myself rewatching. I love it. The whole last battle is an hour long. And like you, it is like you though. I don't feel the time at all. Like I didn't get any of the complaints where it's like, oh, it's too long. No, I mean, I made sure I peed beforehand, but golly, I mean, just, all of the coming back and forth, the way that they worked in the time travel, I thought was really cool. And just the conversations that you have back and forth, and even the beginning where Thor is just so mad and he kills Thanos, like right off the bat,
Yeah. Just then done. You're like, oh crap, okay.
Yeah, which is the wrong move at that moment because it's just.
But I don't blame him at all.
No, it makes complete sense. I mean, he's had, not only just all of these defeats and all of these things, but now the time of being defeated and all these people being dead also. Just, this is one, I mean, out of all of the movies, like if I want to just pop one on, this is the one that I find myself going to first. Because I think the end feeling that I get, as sad as it is, and I cry every time.
I don't blame you. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, but it is there's so many moments within there of just these hero moments, and yes, total fan service through a bunch of it, and I don't care. The movie, I mean, think about it. The franchise and the fans, they deserve that, right? After so long of, so many years of movies, to then create one that has so many different fan moments in it.
Think back to the day you watched it at the cinema, and then you have the Captain America hammer moving. I would say Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and Cap goes, and he goes, "I knew it." I mean, the eruption of.
Absolutely. And I saw, some of the criticisms were that, oh, come on, this is just fan service. Yes, of course it is. There's nothing wrong. If you love a movie, if you love a franchise, and it doesn't matter what that is, and the filmmakers give you a payoff within there, especially after so long of a movie. But
the Russos
series,
are fans. They love comics as well. They love the characters, so they're doing it for themselves as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's these things that, what do I want to see? What would make me happy? And the theater erupted so many different times in cheers. And I think what's also great is that the filmmakers, the writers, knew to not put certain bits of dialogue after these key moments, because there's going to be the applause, there's going to be the shouts, so it doesn't get lost. Yeah. When he says, "Avengers, assemble." We know it's coming. We've been waiting it. Finally, yeah.
We've been waiting so long. One of the best moments is when Cap and Iron Man and Thor are beaten again by Thanos. It's the last battle, and they're down. The shield is broken, and I think Cap's his thing is ripped, and he's got like this blood pouring down here, and he's either on his knees or almost on his knees, and then you just hear this bit of static, and you hear what's his face on your left. And I'm like, oh, and I get shivers now thinking about it. And then you get the swirls, Doctor Strange, and you're like, oh, that's how they're gonna do it. Like, I didn't know. We knew they needed help. You have a whole army, just like it's a proper Thanos' army coming at them. Like, how? There's no ways they survive this. Like that, they're strong, but they can't. There's nothing they can do. And then, like, you see Black Panther, you see, all the armies, their own heroes come through. Ant-Man is giant. It's his face, he's like, yeah, so many great moments. Yeah, it was good. It's good. Yeah. It's a good number one.
Oh, okay. So we've exhausted our list. What's on yours? What's your top 5? What's your top 10? You could do all of them if you want. If you want to list them in the comments, that would be awesome. I'd love to see. I'm very curious to see what makes, especially in the top 5, because we listed 33 different films and TV shows within there. So there's got to be some massive variation. But yeah, okay. Like, share, subscribe. If this is your first time watching this, we do a weekly podcast called The Best Thing We Watched This Week. And it is truly exactly that. We talk about the best things that we watched, and that could be from stuff that we saw on YouTube, a TV series, movies. It's old, new, it doesn't really matter. The qualification for that is, did we enjoy it? And, so we hope you join us for those weekly discussions.
And then weekly we also do Patreon, which is what this video is. It's a special kind of insight into the fun that we have. We do like live stories, we do games where we get cream on our face and see who wins. We also do like quick movie reviews and try and guess those, like minute reviews, which is a lot of fun. So we get up to a lot of nonsense on it. And so if you want to be a part of that, Thank you for watching this.
Absolutely.
How are we doing the outro, Chris?
I think we should do the Scooby-Doo outro. The
Okay,
Wayne's World
it.
outro. Yeah? One, two, three.
Yeah.
Please don't unsubscribe.
Good times.
Thanks for watching.